You see my hat?
Dude, you got me. I'm breathing right now.
Breathe if you're horny, baby. All right, and welcome everyone to the biggest, nastiest, dirtiest, flaming pile of shit dumpster retard fucking podcast that's ever existed since the dawn of humanity. I'm here with your boy, Lusty.
What's happening? Well, I heard you were looking for a racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic person, and I happen to be a white male, so...
You sick fuck.
I guess I fit the bill.
Jeez, dude, you sick bastard. How dare you?
Straight white male, by the way.
How
the worst.
Dare you?
By the way, our a mutual friend of ours, who is gay, went to a job interview. And it was Chris.
I love Chris so much. Does Chris watch these fucking ridiculous podcasts that we do?
I really hope he does. I mean, he would get a kick out of these. But he went to a job
Chris
interview.
So much.
This is great. He went to a job interview, and they asked him in the job interview. They're like, "Oh, what are your pronouns?" He goes, "I may be gay, but I'm still a man."
That's so Chris, dude. Oh my god, I fucking love Chris. Chris is like, just because I love dick doesn't mean I'm retarded, okay? And if he heard me say that, he would laugh so fucking hard too. Oh my god,
he'd be doing this right now.
Oh my god, I fucking love it, dude. Well,
he's awesome. One of my favorite people.
Me too, dude. Fucking, I saw Chris. It's been a while, but I saw him like a while ago. It's been a long ass time. He's still in New York?
Yeah. He's actually the yeah.
Fuck yeah, bro. Well, dude, you and I, it's been like what, 7 weeks since we had a podcast? I mean, I know you've got a metric ton of shit that I've been seeing you dig up, and then on my end, I've got like a metric ton of shit too. So I'm thinking. Yeah. I'm thinking I'm just about ready to just dump on this podcast. Yeah, there you go. Now we're fucking talking. I think I'm about ready to just dump on this podcast the same way that you and I are going to be dumping old furniture on the IRS's front door to donate it to pay towards the public debt.
Please.
You know what I mean?
Anything we could do to pay off this public debt.
I mean, I only do things because I care. You know what I mean? And if you're breathing,
you got me.
You're fucking horny. Yeah, I thought someone bought me this hat. Someone bought me a pickle. I got pickles everywhere, bro. I got a pickle thing hanging off my little door handle over here. I got a pickleless cage on my fridge. And I got pickle cards. I got a pickle card over here.
I was going to send
People
you the
are mailing
pickle
me
ornament.
pickles now.
Yeah. I saw a pickle ornament. I was gonna send it to you, but I didn't have enough time to make it before Christmas. So
someone sent me a fucking pickle ornament. So I don't even have a tree in my apartment, so I just put it on the door handle, leave it there. I mean, hell, I'll fucking put pickles all over this fucking place. I don't care. Whatever. Pickle
get
power,
your own
bro.
books. You're gonna start writing books. Picklelicious.
Picklelicious, dude. Pickle. I almost said pickle children's books, but I was like, no, wait, fuck that, dude. What the fuck? What the hell?
Picklelicious. It's all about the adventures of this one pickle. How he discovers this whole fraudulent system with this federal corporation.
Actually, that's pretty interesting. Actually, that would actually be really like you could do like a children's book that's like actually not like what all the shit that I'm doing, but it's literally just a pickle, and there's no additional information as to why it's a pickle, and it's just, you know, his name's just Mr. Pickle or some stupid shit like that. And
he's
then
in a pickle.
And then he's running around learning about the fucking Matrix and cooking up some negotiable instruments and turning beer bottles into negotiable instruments. And well, no, if it was a children's book, it wouldn't be
everybody.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a beer bottle. It'd be like a juice box.
Or milk box.
Signs the side of a fucking juice box, like a Capri Sun. You know what I mean?
Capri Sun with a Sharpie.
Like Capri Sun and a Sharpie, right? I'm gonna buy this bicycle right now. Watch this, Walmart. You know what I mean?
How much for my groceries? That'll be $250. Do you take plastic?
It's a Capri Sun.
Paper or plastic? You pull out.
Do you take metallic-looking plastic? Oh my god! All right, dog. So, fuck, man. Oh,
I know this is so
shit.
So much stuff.
So much stuff. So I'll start, and then we'll go back and forth, I guess.
All right.
So the first thing that I want to show everybody is what I showed you about the Social Security. Who is entitled to have a Social Security account, right?
Yeah,
I find this to be really interesting because
I was up the rest of the night looking at that stuff.
Yeah, I find this really interesting because this really is the first. I mean, obviously it's obvious, but this is the first time that like the proof of what they're trying to do and how secretive they are and the secret definitions and all that. I have never, ever seen something that is just so obvious. And up until Cornell, because here I'll show you on Cornell, they have the let's see here. They have it's 20 CFR. 20 CFR. 422.104. And actually, I do want to, real quick, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. I do want to do a little shout out for this book. This is a book by Jaleel Bey, and he's actually Now, I'm going to be honest. I have some Moors and stuff that I talk to, and I'm going to say this in the kindest fucking possible way. A lot of the Moors that I've met are they're very antagonistic and very angry, and I personally, I'm sorry to say it, and if people get fucking angry about this comment, then too fucking bad, but I find it difficult to communicate with a lot of the Moors that I have had a chance to talk to. This dude is a Moor, okay? And he is fucking awesome. Like, literally probably some of the best resources, some of the best information, some of the most well-spoken information, some of the most linear, clear, amazing, engaging content I have ever fucking seen in my entire life, coming from this guy, Jaleel Bey. And his Instagram, and everyone should be following this guy, like legit. Especially if you're black, but even if you're not, it doesn't fucking matter. This guy is unbelievable. I believe, I'm pulling it up right now. I believe it's Moorish Lighthouse. Okay, so it's Moorish Lighthouse _official.
I think I've seen that before, actually.
Bro. I mean, this dude is I would, here, I'm going to show you right now on the screen right here. This is the guy, Moorish Lighthouse _official. Okay.
I've seen that.
And his book, I'm going to show everybody on the screen here. This is his book.
Land of the Free. I've seen that book too. Yep.
Now, Land of the Free, Home of the Slave. Okay. Now, the book is really, really good, and I do recommend it. And he does have it up on his Instagram, and you should buy it to support him and that kind of thing. The book is good, but the videos on his Instagram are like, I literally don't think I've ever seen any information or resource that's better, more thorough, cleaner. I mean, the music, the editing, it's like the TikTok style where it's like his face and he's pointing at things and stuff like that. It's just so fucking good. Sometimes he gets a little more advanced than I can easily follow because he's really an advanced guy. But man, his shit is just top notch. And actually, there's another dude, there's another guy I wanted to actually just real quick plug in here because he's really cool too. I think it's State Nationals Rock. Have you seen this guy? State Nationals.
Yeah, I've heard about this guy. I've had.
He keeps it a lot simpler than Jaleel Bey. I don't. If you're kind of new to this stuff, I think this dude might be a good choice. If you're not new, I would go with Jaleel Bey. I mean, honestly, they're both fucking epic. I think Jaleel might be a little bit more better for me. I like his material a little bit more. He goes really down deep, but this guy does too. This guy does really good work, and he's new on my radar, and I wanted to just throw that out there. But
he's got
a
lot of followers, huh? For 1,000?
Yeah.
1,600?
Yeah. And then right now, let's go back to what I was going to show you guys originally. So this comes from Jaleel's book is where I located this, and he describes this, and then he describes the special definition of you as well. Now, the beauty is, can you see this, Joe?
Yeah, I can see that.
The beauty of this is they actually have the special definition of you clickable in the thing. So it's so funny because they try to make it secret, but because Cornell goes and finds all these special definitions and then they link them to the original law or statute, you can actually click right here on the definition of you, and this is the part that is really, really creepy. Okay, so this comes from 20 CFR section 422.402, and if you scroll down to the bottom, you have E. So you can't make this shit up. You means an individual who owes a debt to the United States within the scope of this subpart. And as we've already gone over in my course, just in case anyone's new to all this information, the legal definition of United States is the District of Columbia. So you take...
But watch, if you click on that, though, it'll tell you that when using a geographical sense, right? When it's using... Right, but they don't actually mean that. This
is just a really complicated way. Look, United States means the continental United States, Alaska, Hawaii, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, Guam, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and the Commonwealth. That's interesting, actually, Joe. Alaska and Hawaii.
Yeah, they throw that in there. But normally it says when used in a geographical sense, and then half the time they don't even use it in a geographical sense.
I mean, I've seen it. I've seen all sorts of different definitions of the United States. I've seen things all over the place.
Well, that's an
I've seen
interesting
probably
one where they
six
put
different ones.
The Virgin Islands in this, but not like the Swing Islands or American Samoa.
Yeah.
I guess that would be... No, it's not even the Commonwealth. I don't know. It's weird. Guam is in there.
Anyways, United States means the District of Columbia, and then obviously all of the exclusive territories of the District of Columbia, such as Puerto Rico. I don't know. Maybe is Alaska and Hawaii a part of that? I've never heard this before.
Yeah, that's new.
I don't know.
I remember reading that night you showed me the definition of you, and I was looking, I said, oh, that's interesting, but it is a debt to the United States, but they're not talking about the landmass, they're talking about the federal corporation.
Exactly. So you have who can be assigned a Social Security number, persons eligible for Social Security number assignment. We can assign you, debtor, a Social Security number if you, debtor, meet the evidence requirements in 422.107 and you are a United States citizen, which means that you live in the District of Columbia and you work for the federal corporation. And then here we have number 2, number 3. Now, what's interesting is I went to the Social Security office and I also mailed them a bunch of shit. So I went to the Social Security office and I said, hey, I said, you guys have me down as a U.S. citizen under my Social Security number. I need to change that because I'm no longer a U.S. citizen. And she's like, had no clue. So then she went to her senior, and her senior knew exactly what I was talking about, non-citizen national. She printed off a paper for the teller to read and brought it back. And then she said, okay, you're going to need to, whatever. And so she showed me there's 4 different selections that you can select from in your Social Security account. And they go based off of this exact statute section. So the first choice is a United States citizen. The second choice is a lawful alien allowed to work. The third one is a lawful alien not allowed to work. And then number 4 on the Social Security paperwork is other. And I asked her, I said, what is other? And she said, other is usually used for refugees and asylees, people seeking asylum, okay? And I said, okay. I said, other is probably the best choice for what I'm dealing with, okay? So I said, I want to change my account from U.S. citizen to other. And she said, well, you can't do that. You have to send in some paperwork, blah, blah, blah. So I went home and I wrote a affidavit and I sent it in to them with all of my passport explanatory statement and all that kind of stuff attached to it all. And I haven't heard a word back, but I just realized today that I wrote the incorrect Social Security number on the paper.
Oops.
Fucked up one of the numbers. Oh. So they might be able to find my account. They might not. But anyways, I'm going to go back over there probably tomorrow and see if I can speak to them and see what's going on with that. But anyways, it's a little bit complicated because
can I show you how to do this?
Social Security. Yeah.
I've been talking about this for a while, but there is a way to do it online. It's really simple. So can I share my? Let's see,
yeah. On the bottom, there's a share button.
Share
that shit, Lusty.
All right. Chrome tab. My
No. Go to entire screen, please. Otherwise, it'll crash the podcast.
Oh, no, we don't want that. All right.
Entire screen.
So now you can see my entire screen.
You did entire screen? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So if you go to My E-Verify, okay, you can see this is mine up here. You have to. There's a couple of steps it makes you do because they want to verify that you really are who you are. Okay, and then it gives you a bunch of options here.
Holy shit!
Yep, and it's right there, number 2.
Wait, where? What is who?
It is myeverify.uscis.gov.
Dot. Say it again. My eVerify dot.
.uscis.gov.
This is let's see here. It says .gov, but I'm always very careful about this kind of a thing. What is this?
No, this is legit. This is the real thing because they're gonna make you do a whatchamacallit. Like you have to do like a verification check with them first before you're allowed to get access to your own stuff with your social and everything. But they'll tell you right here, like, what's your citizenship status, and you get to pick. You know, it's a voluntary system, so you get to volunteer what status you are.
Yeah, this is interesting. So I think I used this system one time. Do I just log into my account here and then...
If you have an account, yeah. And then when it's, you verify all your personal information. The second step is citizenship status. And there's 4 statuses that give you the right to work in the United States. Citizen, national, lawful permanent resident, and alien authorized to work. So I guess if you're like on a student visa, you can't really get a job here, right? Stuff like that.
Well, you can't get a job in the District of Columbia.
Right, in the District of Columbia.
So, everify.us everify. I'm going to write this down. I'm doing this. Done.
That's it.
Now, is this an account or something that's attached to something?
Yeah, like I have an account. Like you can see my name is up there. It says my name, Joe Lustica, right up there.
It says Lusty.
Yeah, I don't want to click on too much stuff because I don't know what personal information I'm going to end up sharing.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, let me see what else. Let me see what else I can pull up. Manage account.
That's fucking beautiful, man. Because if that's connected to like your Social Security account, then you can just update it there. But I don't know if it updates at the Social Security office.
Okay, let me show you another thing. This is crazy. I didn't see this until just now, so I'm going to show you right now. All right, so back to sharing the screen.
This is gonna be a juicy fucking podcast.
All right, so edit account has my there's my email, and everyone can email me. Thanks. But FOIA requests. Look at this.
Yeah,
this
I seen that.
FOIA request, my E-Verify, that one. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah, that's I don't know if that's. Oh, you clicked on my account and it took you there?
Yep. Yeah. On the top where it says where it had my name, it goes my account, and then it goes to here, which is the U.S. Citizen Immigration Services.
It's interesting when you fill out an I-9. This is the organization that the I-9 comes from. And
it has the same 4 choices for citizenship.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Number 2 is a non-resident, a non-citizen national of the United States.
Right. Which is the best option because what they're trying to do is they're trying to get you. Well, because they'll say that's the American Samoan, which technically they're right, but there's the U.S. national or the state national, and then they have national of the United States. But a state national is still a non-citizen national, so they're blending the terms.
They lump it all
there.
together. That's why on the explanatory statement from James C. Lovett, it says at the top, state national / U.S. national.
Right.
Did you ever notice that?
Yep.
Yeah. So fucking A, dude. So back to this entire screen share. Sharing is caring. We've got this is 20 CFR 422.104. And basically what they're saying is that we can assign you who you're a debtor to us, basically, a Social Security number if you meet the evidence requirements in 422.107. And the other interesting thing is that in Jalil Bey's book, there's an entire section of the book where he goes into old Social Security cards compared to the new ones, right? So if you pull up what does the first version of the Social Security card look like? And let's see here. See, the old ones, they say account number.
Mm-hmm.
And the really, really old ones say employee card or employee number.
Yeah, and they didn't have the red numbers on the back either.
And they didn't have the bond numbers in the back. I didn't know that.
Someone actually came to me and reached out to me, said, "Hey, how do I get the routing number? I don't know my routing number." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? It's on the back of the card." And they said they've had the same card since like 1980 something. I said, "Holy crap! Okay." So it didn't have the numbers on there, the red numbers.
Huh.
There you go. That's old.
This is a metal plate. This is from some Reddit post. Really, really interesting.
That one right there with all the zeros, that's the one that my mother had. That was the one that she had.
I mean, you got to think, if you call up your grandma, whoever's listening to this fucking podcast, this piece of shit podcast, if you call up your grandma, you know, ask her if she's got an old Social Security card, because we're not like 150 years away from all this shit. We're like 70, 80 years away from like the original shit that existed. Like great grandma or grandma of anyone walking around may very well still have one of these fucking things in her safe or in her documents somewhere. And you can pull it out and you can take a photo of it and you can black out her personal information and you can share it on the internet. It might be very helpful. Because yeah, see?
It does say employee. I know that it does say that somewhere.
Right here, look. There it is. Do you see on the very bottom, employee's signature?
Yep, there you go. That's
there
it right
is.
there.
History lesson.
And that's the
on your Social Security card. Yeah, this is, I don't know how old this is, but this is, so it has the word account number. It has...
09. No, that's
now another thing that's interesting, has been established for. That's kind of interesting.
Look at the date it was issued.
What does it say?
December 3rd, 1936.
Wow. Okay, so this does look like it's like OG as fuck. So Social Security Act, which is the original name for the original law, you have the word account number, which shows that it is an account, okay? Has been established for, that's really interesting wording, meaning someone else has created some sort of a trust or whatnot, right? Then you have the guy's name, and then you have date of issue, and then you have employee's signature.
Yep,
very
employee signature.
Very, very interesting. So what this card represents, as per 20 CFR 422.104, is it represents that you owe them a debt, basically.
And now you work for them, as if you're paying off the debt.
Yeah, and it's interesting, too, because it's like, you know, there's always this idea of, like, exchange that comes up, right? Like, exchange for getting money or exchange for government services and stuff like that. I'm starting to believe a lot of, like, disability and all these different beneficial type things. I was always worried that they would contract you into the system, but I believe what it is those things are in exchange for you letting them use your future potential production to prop up the money supply.
That's exactly what I think, and I've explained that to people. I said they're using you as collateral to print money because they can.
And in exchange, they're offering you all this other shit.
Right.
And you have already earned all of that. So you can go out and I got another buddy of mine. I don't think he wants me to say his name because he's a little bit more secretive when it comes to this shit. But he called me and he told me that disability. Let's see here. Disability. How do I get disability for anxiety? This is, so a lot of times you have to get, you have to have evidence to get disability and stuff like that. But one of the areas that a buddy of mine turned me on to that I thought was really fascinating was anxiety. And how can you prove anxiety, right? So you can actually get disability benefits based off of anxiety, and no one can tell you don't have it. So it's stuff like this. Now, I don't know exactly how it all works. I don't know what it contracts you into. I don't know every single little detail. I plan on going into the whatever office and talking to them and trying to figure all this out. But my point is that you could sign up for anxiety disability without having the concern that you're getting something for free because they've already basically stolen the entire value of your entire future production, and they're offering you this minuscule little benefit in exchange for having done that. So you don't need to have a moral or ethical qualm. The qualm that you should have when it comes to something like doing, filing for disability with anxiety is, does it contract you into anything? Does it make you under the supervision of a psychiatrist and somebody who can be manipulated, and you can just be grabbed off the street. These are the kind of things that you need to be looking at more so, in my opinion, if you're going to be doing stuff like this and getting into these benefit systems, because you don't want to contract into a benefit system for anxiety, but then opening up the door for, like, let's say they can just say you're crazy and grab you off the street and put you in a mental institution because you've signed paperwork that proves that you have a mental instability, something like this. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, there's two questions they ask you. I've noticed this on like all these forms where they want benefits, we're going to give you benefits. We're going to give you benefits. There's two questions, jurisdictional questions they ask. Are you a citizen and are you a resident? If you say yes to either one of those, they got you in their jurisdiction.
Yes, that's true. But you also have to keep in mind too that you can write on here. So let's. I have an idea on this. Let's see. Disability application, California form. Let's see. So disability insurance forms and publications. This is obviously for California. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I were to
Armenian's second.
Huh?
Armenian's the second language on there. It's English,
yeah,
Armenian.
well, there's a reason for that. I'm not going to get into that. I live in Glendale. I don't want to get killed. So
I'm not no disrespect. I just thought it was funny because I know there's so many Armenians over there.
Yeah. Well, in Glendale specifically, yeah. So let me see here. What do we got? Is this notice to employees? I don't think I want that. Disability insurance provisions. Is that what we want? Let's see.
Disability insurance elective coverage? No.
See, California likes to be really complicated and have like 18 different forms for like one thing. I have a feeling most states are just going to be like one form. I could be wrong. California does like to be extremely bureaucratic about everything. So if they can have, they have a very stern, in California, they have a more the merrier policy. If they can have, why would you want one form for something when you could have 67?
All right, let's make it more complicated.
Type in yours, New Jersey.
New Jersey disability. Let's see.
Let's see what this is.
Temporary disability insurance. My leave
There we go.
benefits.
I found
What you
it.
got? Okay.
Let's. I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to fill out some of the forms here.
They should. They don't. I'm surprised they don't have just a PDF of the form. Start an application.
SDI. What is it? SDI online. What if I did offline?
Yeah. Type in form and then put in PDF, and then you probably get the PDF that you can print out and then send in by mail. All right, so I have my leave benefits. It's called a DS1, Temporary Disability Benefits Application.
All right, I'm just going to type that in, DS1 form. What's it called?
That's the New Jersey one. It's just called Temporary Disability Benefits Application. So,
Is there a permanent disability application?
let's
Permanent disability. Let's see here.
No, I don't think they don't have one. It's temporary, but I think you can keep.
Social Security. Here we go. Social Security disability benefits.
Okay.
There we go. You can do a disability online. Disability evaluation. Medical book for determining disability. Let's see.
Dude, on this form, it says witness signature of claimant writes an X.
Hold on. God damn it. I can't find a single motherfucking form. How did you find whatever form you have? It's starting to piss me off a little bit.
I just typed in New Jersey disability form PDF.
DS1619 PDF.
Yeah.
My leave benefits.
Okay. You found the New Jersey one.
Yeah. So I'm just going to use this for a second, and I want to look at this because I have a theory on how anyone can get these benefits without contracting. So Social Security number. So last name, first name, middle, you would put all your info in all capital letters. Your date of birth, this actually would not be your date of birth. This would actually be the registration date of the trust. So in my case, I think it's around 14 days after when I was born. So for date of birth, you would put the registration date of the trust, and you can locate that date on your long form birth certificate. And the section of the long form birth certificate, I believe, is something like date of registration or something like that. It's somewhere in the middle of the. Do you have your long form birth certificate there, Joe?
Yeah, I'm looking. It says date filed. So
date filed.
Date filed.
So date filed would be the number that would go into date of birth.
Yeah, mine's 5 weeks after my birthday.
So you'd put that there. Gender, I would just put X. Honestly, home. Seriously, I'm serious. Home address, I would do.
You'll get approved just for that. Just put X.
Home address, I don't know what I'd put. I would
just do the address because it's you know what? You could write non-domestic, zip exempt, and then put in care of.
No, this is what I'm thinking. I want to tell you more about this.
Because the mailing address would be different.
No, I'm going to tell you more about this. My theory is this. You are the agent to the trust, and you are filling out this entire form for the trust exclusively as if it has nothing to do with you and as if it's located in Puerto Rico. So you would put the date of birth would be the registration date of the trust. It would be the first and middle and last name in all capital letters of the trust. The home address, I would put the actual Puerto Rico address. So the home address would be where is the IRS headquarters in Puerto Rico? Internal Revenue Service. I would put something like this.
Guyambo?
What?
Guaynabo?
I don't know what the address is, but I would put the address for Guaynabo, Puerto Rico. That's what I would put in box number 2, and country.
No, that says
country
county.
Would be county. I don't know what the county would be, but wherever.
I think it's Puerto Rico.
Guaynabo, Puerto Rico County. So I would do Puerto Rico. I would do home address is that location of the IRS. County would be Puerto Rico. Mailing address, if different from home address. Now this one you can put CO because it really is care of. It's care of by mailing whatever card or benefit they're going to be giving you to the person who's the agent working on behalf of the trust. So the mailing address would be CO and then your address and then like attention your name, comma, agent or something like that. You see what I mean?
There you go. Yeah, lowercase name, comma, agent.
Or whatever, right? And then you're the agent, right? And then with what groups do you most identify?
Click them all.
I mean, you could put whatever you want on here, honestly, because you're saying basically you're answering these questions on behalf of the trust. So the trust can be whatever it is that you want it to be, and actually, in fact, I would probably check mark these differently than that of which I am. So I'm white as shit. I'm a fucking ghost. So I would probably put like black or Native American on here.
We got African American. It says American Indian.
Yeah.
Alaskan Native.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then check the highest level of schooling you have completed. I would just do have not graduated high school, because has the trust graduated high school?
It has
I don't know.
No.
So first date, you were unable to work and under medical care for this disability. No idea. I mean, for all I know, you could put the
That's
date
the person who was a debt. You is the person who was a debt.
No, that definition only applies to that subsection of that 422, section 422.
But wouldn't this be in part?
No, you is probably referring to a person, and the person by definition would be the trust. So I this is all a theory I have, and I'm telling you, the cool thing about my theory is you can't get in trouble if you try it and they say no, because you're not even asking for benefits for yourself.
Right.
You're filling out benefits on behalf of another person. Okay, so you don't need to lie on anything. Like let's just skip some of these, because I don't know what I would put in here. I would just make some shit up, to be totally honest with you, right? So physician's name, okay, I don't know. You could just put N.A. in there. N.A. No physician. You put some stuff, benefit information. Do you want federal income tax? No, I do not want anything withheld, blah, 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 blah. Now, it says here, I certify I was unable to work during the period from which I am claiming benefits. I am aware that if I provide any information in this application that I know to be false, or if I knowingly fail to disclose a material fact, I may be subject to penalties, which may include criminal prosecution. You are hereby authorized to verify my Social Security number and obtain any medical, employment, and Social Security benefit information necessary to determine my eligibility for benefits.
It's not signed under penalty of perjury.
Yeah, that's true.
That's kind of interesting.
Now look here, you can assign a representative to obtain claim information if you cannot call us yourself. So the representative would be your human name, and date of birth would be so date of birth up top for the trust would be the registration date. Date of birth for the representative would be your actual date of birth, you as a human. You see the difference?
Well, then you'd put an X there where it's a sign here, and then you sign it as the witness.
Well, no, you'd sign it without prejudice as an agent, you see?
Okay. I mean, I thought it was interesting. It says witness sign signature if claimant writes an X.
Okay, yeah, good. You could do that too. So you could do an X in the sign, and then you would do without prejudice a human name and then comma agent, because you're operating as an agent for the trust.
Right. And then you are the approved representative name.
So now what you're going to do is you're going to get benefits checks that are going to be in all capital letters, and what you're going to do is you're going to open up a trust account that's going to be called Brandon Joe Williams Trust, and you're going to take those checks that come, the benefit checks that come for the trust, and you're going to cash them in your trust account, of which you are the trustee. You would not cash them in your own account. If you cash them in your own account or deposit them in your own account, that would be fraud.
That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense because it's not your account you're putting into. You're putting into
not
a
your
trust.
money. It's not your money. It's
right.
It's money that you're going to be depositing into a trust, and the beneficiary of the trust that you've created is this other trust, which is really confusing, but you can do that because a beneficiary is defined by a person. So I would imagine that the beneficiary of a trust could be another trust. I don't know how all that would work exactly. We're getting into some advanced stuff here, but I saw some of this, and I've been thinking about this a lot recently, and I feel like this makes sense to me. Some of the questions don't make sense, how exactly they would be plugged in, like the dates of when you were disabled and this kind of thing. But, I mean, you could go so far as to say, Brandon, I'm really, really nervous about putting information on here that may not be true. You know what? Just put NA in those dates. NA, 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 NA. And don't put any information on the form at all that's not true. And just fucking send it in. Honestly, truthfully, this is what I'm going to do. And honestly, truthfully, I very strongly believe, because look, how do these government organizations justify taking money out of our trusts? It's a question. What is the answer?
I don't know. That's a good question.
By delivering services to us. So what you're doing in this form is you're permitting them to be the trustee, allowing them to deliver services to you, and authorizing them to pull money out of your Sesta KV trust account in order to fund the trust. This is basically an application form.
Yeah, I can see that. That's interesting. Let me see. Employment information. Well,
because if you put NA, NA, NA on these dates, the worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to tell you to go fuck yourself. That's the worst thing that's going to happen.
Yeah, they could just say, yeah, sorry, you did not qualify for the benefits. All right.
Exactly. That's it. You didn't lie on the form. You didn't say any fibs. You didn't do shit. You were 100% completely fucking to the letter honest on your form. So I say fucking anyone listening to this podcast, just send it in. If they start sending you checks, work out opening up your trust later. You don't need to open up the trust now. If they approve you and start sending money, you're gonna be figuring out how to open that trust real fucking fast. I'll tell you right now, because you're gonna be excited because you're gonna get like $3,000 a month. I mean, $3,000 a month ain't a lot, but it ain't nothing either. It's a media. I mean, $3,000 for your typical person in America. That's a chunk of change, bro. That is a chunk of change. Okay, and they've already used your information. They've already used your false entity. They've already packaged you up. They've traded you. They've leveraged your account. They've done all sorts. You are actually already entitled to these benefits, and these benefits are the exchange they're giving back to you, which is like peanuts compared to what they've taken from you. But they're giving this is what they're giving back to you in exchange for you not knowing that you were doing it, but allowing them to leverage your future potential production. This is my part of what I'm saying is theoretical. I do want to be honest. I don't necessarily have all of this nailed down completely, but having researched a lot of this recently, I'm pretty fucking sure that's what we're looking at with all of this. And as long as you never lie and you're extremely, extremely, extremely specific on every single little thing that you type into these boxes, you can send in these forms with immunity. You don't have to worry about it, okay? If it says something and you're not sure and you think you're going to like make some shit up and it's going to be a lie, just put NA or just put a line through it and just see what happens. Fuck it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that way you don't, especially if it's under penalty of perjury, because you don't want to deal with that shit.
Well, you got to think too is if they give you $3,000 a month, who knows? Maybe they're pulling $8,000 a month out of your trust, and they're taking $5,000 for administrative fees, and then the last $3,000 is for you. You don't know.
Which they do. They do
you don't
that.
Know.
Let me see if I
yeah,
can
but what
find
I'm
this.
saying is that why would they not want to approve this form? What I'm saying is that they want to approve this form.
Like, yeah, they're going to make money.
They desperately want to approve this form, right? So if you put vague shit in here, or you just put lines or NA, or even, dude, you could even write next to the fucking box, you could sign power of attorney. And fucking literally mail this form in with all those slots empty, and have a second form, which is a power of attorney form. Sign the power of attorney form and let them know that as the trustee, they have that you're giving them the ability to write whatever. This is so fucking genius. I've never thought of this. You're giving them the right to write whatever they need to write on the form to get the form approved. How fucking genius is that?
Yeah, there we go.
That's like blowing my mind. I'm like fucking, my mind's like melting right now, bro. you could just you say that some of the boxes were empty because I wasn't sure what to put in there. I'm not looking to get in any trouble. I wanted to be 100% honest, but at the same time, I am, as the beneficiary, really excited about getting this thing started and making sure that you guys make your money and I can get my money. So here's a power of attorney form. And it's signed, and it gives you guys power of attorney to fill out this form in whatever way that needs to be filled out in order to get the account opened and approved as quickly as possible.
I like that one. That's nice.
Now they can't even really disapprove the form. Now that's really fascinating, right? That is a really, really fascinating. And honestly, if 50 different people all told me they did that and they were approved instantaneously for disability, wouldn't shock me one bit.
That I'd be very interested to see that. So, you want to see what I've been up to? Well, real quick, before we change the subject, I'm going to show you what the Social Security thing. This is
share your screen.
Yeah. So this is from the Social Security website itself. Okay. Social Security, an official website of the United States government. What are the trust funds? The Social Security trust funds are financial accounts in the U.S. Treasury. Look, they're in the U.S. Treasury. There are two separate Social Security trust funds. The Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Funds pays retirements and survivor benefits. And the disability, this is the one you're trying to go after. The Disability Insurance Trust Fund pays disability benefits.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
So, it's totally, it's there. You're allowed to do it. But look, they're going to tell you, the Social Security trust funds hold money not needed in the current year to pay benefits and administrative costs. That's the part you're saying.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
See?
That's I'm validating exactly what you said.
You're approving them to service you, and you're approving them to allow them to pay themselves whatever they need to pay themselves as the trustee to cover the costs, including wages, that it may take to service you. Right.
Now, you want to see how they get this money?
Yeah.
By law, invest it in special treasury bonds that are guaranteed by the U.S. government. A market rate of interest is paid to the trust funds on the bonds they hold. When those bonds reach maturity or are needed to pay benefits, the Treasury redeems them.
Now, you know what this is? This is David Straight talks about hypothecation. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
So hypothecation, there's only like a few things in the world that is allowed to hypothecate, and I forget exactly what is hypothecation in finance. To pledge something as security for a loan without the actual delivery of the item pledged. So, for example, a car may be collateral for a car loan, although possession remains with the borrower.
Right.
So party A promises party B an item that party C holds or uses or has. It's sort of like a trust almost in itself, right? So according to David Straight, only certain organizations can do like high level hypothecation, and they package all this shit together and they hypothecate it, right? The U.S. Treasury is allowed to hypothecate, and that's what I think they're talking about in what you just showed me. They're talking about hypothecation. Right.
Corporations are allowed to do this. Corporations create bonds. You could go look it up on Google, type in corporate bonds, and you'll see ones from McDonald's. This is what they do. And I got this actually out of a finance book. All right. This is not from, this is from a book, a Dryden book, which ended up becoming Prudential later on. So this book is from way back when. But what the companies do is they'll draw money out of your Social Security account, right? Go and create a bond with it. And then they send you the coupon vouchers, which you then in turn send back to them that they are supposed to use to redeem for the payments.
Yeah.
And that is what the billing statements are. They're actually vouchers. Coupon payments, right? That they're using from the bonds.
Well, it makes sense because a statement by definition is an allegation. So you're approving the allegation and discharging the amount that has been now created through the approval of the allegation.
Right. Well, one thing that I thought was interesting was that I noticed that the credit card companies and utility companies are the ones that give you the hardest time about accepting those coupons as payments. And it hit me, why? They can't.
Why?
Because they can't always redeem it for the full value that you're writing on the coupon, because it's an interest payment, right? It's a payment on the interest on the bond. So they might be only able to redeem a certain amount of it, but not the whole thing. It's possible. I don't know for sure, right?
Well, on that note, I think now I want to share what I had just sent you last night. The big boy. We're going to share it right now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
so
dude.
On that note, we've got 31. This is the big fucking daddy right here, bro. This is fucking monstrous.
Well, I've already
31 31 CFR section 328.5 forms of endorsement. My fucking God, look at this. When presented by banks for payment or exchange. Are you seeing that word? Exchange?
Yep.
The endorsement placed on a bearer security presented for payment or exchange by a bank should be in the following form. Look at this. For presentation to the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco would be the nearest one to me, comma, fiscal agent of the United States, comma, for redemption or in exchange for securities of a new issue in accordance with written instructions submitted by insert name of presenting bank. I mean, that is so fucked. So what you're doing is you're taking a promissory note and you're mailing it in to the Federal Reserve to exchange that promissory note for securities of a new issue, which would be your Federal Reserve notes. And they're going to take the promissory note that you mail them, and they're going to exchange that promissory note, which is a negotiable instrument, for Federal Reserve notes, and then probably send you back a check that is for the full amount of the value of what you exchanged for.
Right. Now,
and this is how it works.
Yep. You ready for something?
Yeah, I'm gonna unshare.
Okay. All right. Check this out. So, I know I made this video called the Private Banker EIN, and I mean I get a lot of people asking me about this. Like, what's the purpose of this? What's the purpose of this? Well, banks can issue bonds and notes, right? This one's canceled. I canceled this one because it didn't print out very nicely. But I created a bond that I'm going to use for my car insurance. If you look down here, it says the private bank, and it has my name on it because that is the name of the bank that I created that has an EIN number, right? So even the IRS recognizes that bank as being a real entity. It's a
Fuck yeah.
It's a nonprofit, tax exempt corporation. As I filled it out, and now so I have my own bonds, which I printed out, and then look what it has on the back.
That's the endorsement.
That's the endorsement. Now, this one,
that's the one from the one I just sent. That's
Yep.
the one from the one I just had.
That's right. I told that was the missing
So you put
piece.
the endorsement on the back. Okay, good. So you have the bond in the front, and then on the back you have the endorsement and exchange for the Federal Reserve. So that way it's monetized. So that way when you send it in, you sign the back.
Right. So it has the bank, the issuing bank
so
on there.
31. So on 31. Okay. But you still have to sign your name somewhere.
Yeah, I signed it here. My name is signed on here on the bottom, without prejudice. And then I'm going to.
It's like a Federal Reserve note. The signature's on a Federal Reserve note.
Right. Exactly.
Right?
Because you have to.
Oh my God! I didn't think of that. Hold on. Let me pull one of those out. Let me. Hold on 1 second. So we've got a negotiable instrument here.
Yeah. So one has to be signed by the secretary of the bank, which is the front, and then the back is signed by the president of the bank or the CEO or CFO of the bank.
So on this, we've got two signatures. This is a $20 bill. This is a series. The series on this $20 bill is 2017. That's the series on this. It has two signatures, two endorsement signatures. It has one from Jorta Barrage, which is the Treasurer of the United States. And then we have another one, which is Stephen T. Munchin, and he is the Secretary of the Treasury. So we have two signatures here.
I think I got
two
the same
endorsement
signature.
signatures.
Stephen T. Munchin is the Secretary of Treasury, and then, oh shit! I think we probably got the same year.
It says just right of Andrew Jackson's arm. It says series, and then it has the date of the series.
Well, I have $100 bill.
What's the series on that? Next to your boy there.
To Ben, it says it's 2017 A.
Yeah, 2017. Yeah.
So same year. So it's gonna be the same signatures. Let's look at a different year. Same year. 2009. Different names on this one. Timothy F. Gytham. By the way, did you know a signature? It can be copied and photocopied and slapped on, and that's totally legit.
I didn't know that. Obviously, that's what they're doing here. Obviously, so
Yeah.
I have a $1 bill here from 2013 series. This one has the Treasurer of the United States is Rosa Budamonte Rio, something like that, and then the Secretary of the Treasury is this one's really hard to read. June. I don't know. June. Giefer? I can't tell. It's a signature. It's a really the first letter is very wild cursive, so I can't. But these don't have any other signatures. They just have the two endorsement signatures.
Interesting.
Yeah, I wish I had more of these. Let's see.
Yeah, these. But the bond thing is very interesting. The corporate bonds really grabbed my attention because I was like, wow, corporations issue their own bonds, and they do that for a number of reasons. I was reading that book again. That book is like valuable as hell.
Which book?
It was called the 9th edition Financial Management or something like that.
Well, I'm assuming corporate bonds are based off of the value in the corporation. The corporate value would be the backing of a corporate bond, I'm assuming.
Well, you know what I did up here? If you look on the top of this one, The discharge bond number is actually the birth certificate number, and the private offset account is the social.
Okay.
So those are the bonds that this is basically like a coupon bond that's going to be used to redeem a piece of that full bond that's on the market, right? And then I can do that with this. Although this one is canceled.
So you're gonna take that and you're gonna sign it, and then you're gonna mail that to the Federal Reserve, and you're gonna write up a contract to exchange that promissory note for Federal Reserve notes. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, like this one.
Now what is that promissory note state, that bond? What is the promise there?
Well, it says, I promise to pay or pledge myself as surety as follows, right?
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. So, and then I talk about 18 U.S. Code Section 8, that all bonds are obligations of the United States. Pursuant to the Second Liberty Bond Act, provision for refunding the public debt in connection with early callable and maturity issues of Liberty bonds. Then public policy is as established with House Joint Resolution 192. Then it talks about, then I quote that little section there where every obligation is going to be payment of legal tender for public and private debts, and that the is.
I wouldn't use did you write this or did you get a template?
No, I wrote this.
I wouldn't use HJR 192 or Public Law 73-10. I would actually use 18 USC 891, that one that I found.
891. Let me look at that. So I might redo it because I'm playing around with
because I'm pretty sure the reason why they get all bent out of shape about HJR 192 and Public Law 73-10 is because they're gone, and they cut it all up and they stick it all through the United States Code. And this is the first time right here on my screen. This is the first time that I found something where I was like, holy fuck, this is HJR 192 / Public Law 73-10 right here in the U.S. Code right now. Not canceled, not mitigated, but just as green and as alive as anything else. Definition number 1, 2, 3, and 4 right here. Mm-hmm. Number 1 is to extend credit. This is Title 18, United States Code, Section 891, definitions and rules of construction of Title 18, which is a lot of it has to do with crimes and criminal penalties. To extend credit means to make or renew any loan or to enter into any agreement, tacit or express, whereby the repayment or satisfaction of any debt or claim, whether acknowledged or disputed, valid or invalid, and however arising, may or will be deferred. Perfect. It's very confusing. It's very shitty. But I do believe that is HJR 192. And then number 4 is another big one. Look at this one. The repayment of any extension of credit includes the repayment, satisfaction, or discharge in whole or in part of any debt or claim acknowledged or disputed, valid or invalid, resulting from or in connection with that extension of credit. So what they're doing in this right here, this is HJR 192 in a teeny, teeny little package, because it's telling you the definition of repayment is discharge.
Yeah, that's
repayment nice. Equals discharge.
Well, I got
HJR 192 and Public Law 73-10, that's essentially what the only thing anybody cares about is a repayment equals discharge. So I feel like this is it. This is like HJR 192 and Public Law 73-10, they're gone, and they're going to fight you on it. This, Title 18, Section 891, what can they do? They can't do anything.
That's better. So I also put down 31 USC 5312 C is on there. 18 USC
what is it?
31 USC 5312. But I'm keeping that one up because that's good. I needed that one.
Right here.
That's because I really couldn't find more stuff I could throw in there.
Financial institution, the definition. I remember this.
Yeah.
We laughed about this for a while.
Oh, yeah, we went through that. And then if you go down to the small c, then that's the one that I'm using in regards to this.
Small c? Where's this?
Right there.
C? That's good, but check out definition number 2 and 3 now of 18891. The term creditor, with reference to any given extension of credit, refers to any person making that extension of credit, or to any person claiming by, under, or through any person making that extension of credit. So first off, this is, again, HGR 192. This is everything. This is trust law. This is everything. And the reason why is multiple different points. First off, is it you or is it your trust that gives extension of credit?
Oh, it's me.
Exactly, right? So you are a person making that extension of credit, right? Now, that's interesting because it says here, or any person claiming by, under, or through any person making that extension of credit. So this also is what I used in this Big Daddy conditional acceptance that I just sent to Amex with a claim of lien for $14 million. And I'm going to be covering that conditional acceptance in great length in my advanced course, which I haven't started working on yet, but I have the outline, and I'm writing the outline right now as we speak, and I'm putting it all together in my head. Because the way I roll is I put it all together in my head for a while, and then by the time I'm ready to actually do it, it's like 2 days and it's done. So that's what's going to happen, right? But look, so you're the creditor, and then the bank is also saying that they're the creditor because they're a person claiming by, under, or through you, right, making that extension of credit. And then the term debtor, right, with reference to any given extension of credit, refers to any person to whom that extension of credit made, or to any person who guarantees the repayment of that extension of credit. Now, repayment equals discharge. So wherever discharge is done or completed would fit this idea. So if you discharge the debt, you're repaying the debt. So any person who guarantees the repayment of the extension of credit, or in any manner undertakes to indemnify the creditor against loss resulting in the failure of any person to whom that extension of credit is made to repay the same. So my theory, and what I wrote in my conditional acceptance, is that the bank calls themselves the creditor, but you as the living man is also a creditor. And then the all caps trust is the debtor, because the debtor discharges and guarantees and indemnifies the creditor, which is yourself and the bank, and the discharge equals the repayment of the extension of credit as per definition number 4. So this is like, to me in my head, this is like HGR 1992 / public law 73-10 times 8 billion. I don't even want to say HGR 192 or public law 73-10 ever again.
My thing is that I always tell people not to talk about that, not to mention it, but I was having a hard time trying to find pieces to put for this bond. So I did find this very interesting Second Liberty Bond Act, which talked about how these things are funding the public debt. So that's what they're used for. So I said, oh, okay, look at that. So now we can do that. And then the bonds can be called in early, or you can mature them earlier than the maturity date, according to that act. So I said, well, there you go. So that's part of that. But I was sitting around on this. That's why I haven't released it yet, really, because my problem was the HJR 192. Right?
And the other thing that we just found, and the how to get it exchanged. How do you exchange the security with
that was it.
Yeah.
So that's on there. And I went and bought some parchment paper, and I printed it out on parchment paper.
There you go.
So
yeah, so I feel like if you use the the exchange, the Fed exchange one that we just found. We just found that like 2 days ago. Someone fucking emailed this to me.
That's amazing.
I should probably shout them out because this is such a fucking big deal. Let me see if I can find that email because
well, I'm going to update that because that was the part that I was having the most trouble with. And finally, after like a couple of weeks, I was like, all right, forget it. I'm just going to put that in there for now. And I'm sure something will come up at some point because when I release stuff, people come to me and they go, dude, you got to change this or do this. And I'm like, oh, shit, thank you. I didn't know that or, wherever have you. So it's good to know. That's a good one. But I'm going to put these out so people can I'm going to make templates of this so people can have them.
Well, I would. I mean, do whatever you're gonna do. I would just get something to work before you. There's just so many different things that don't work. You know what I mean? That I just feel like.
Yeah. Well, no. That's why I'm putting all the pieces together before I release it because I'm going to put it out there, get pulled over, hand it over to a cop as my insurance, and see what he does.
Yeah.
And I might make one that's, like, I don't know, like $100 or something and send that into the Federal Reserve to see if I can actually redeem it. Like $100 bond and see if I actually get the money back. And if I can, then I go, okay, look, this actually works. We're going to do this. So.
You need just $100, huh? You're not going to go for the 40 trillion?
Give me the Ukraine money. I figure something small just so that way it doesn't garner a lot of attention, and they just kind of go, "Oh, okay."
I mean, I don't think 50 trillion would garner a lot of attention, personally.
No, probably not. I'll do 100, and then I'll accidental millionaire it.
Ooh, dude. Fuck yeah. God damn, I'm trying to call this person out. I just have so many emails. I wish I could find who sent me this thing because it's really a big deal.
Awesome.
Give me just a minute to see if
No,
I
that's
can
fine.
find
I'm
this.
going to fill all this in now from this. It's because that's good stuff, man. 18.
Okay, here we go. Found it.
Yeah.
So the person, I don't know if she wants me to say her name now that I'm looking at this. Let's just say her name is Angie.
Okay, that's fine.
So call out to Angie, who I will not be describing her name in any more detail than that, but because I don't know if she wants me to. But big thank you to Angie for helping us find that. That's huge. That's a huge.
Yep.
That's one of the last really big missing puzzle pieces that we were looking for. And it's so fucking huge. Like when I saw that, bro, I fell out of my seat literally.
Well, I'm putting it in right now. I'm telling you, that's going in there.
I'm not going to say anything more right now. I am testing a way to have all of your credit cards and your auto loans and your mortgages discharge, and I'm talking like super easily. I did currently do a payment of $2,500 using this particular
and that went
testing, and it went through. It's been only a few days. It was pending, and then it was approved. I am not going to announce how it works quite yet because I want to make sure it doesn't get bounced back. I want to make sure they don't close my account. I want to see if I can continue to do it month after month after month. I'm going to try to do it. I have a couple other test subjects that I'm working with right now. One is a full auto loan discharge. I'm going to not start yelling about this until I have confirmed it to be a fact, and then I probably will dig and try to sort out exactly why it works before I announce anything. It's going to be pretty fucking crazy. I don't know if all of the activities that I'm doing, such as the passport, such as I've sent so much motherfucking communication. Oh, another thing I wanted to tell you about on this point, actually, just today I mailed, there's this guy named Hans who's on my friends list who I'm going to have on the show here at some point in the future. He seems very knowledgeable. And he was mentioning about, you just write to the Postmaster General and you just tell them that you want to be taken out of the system entirely because you're no longer domestic, but you're non-domestic without the United States as per 31 USC 1746 or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I've never heard that one. That's new to me too.
Okay, let's
31 USC.
No, I'll find it because this is really, really important. I'm going to share the screen right now. This is really, really important.
This is very interesting.
So whenever this is how I notarize all of my documents these days. So I do it as per 28 USC 1746.
The jurats.
And what you're doing is you are this is the declaration swearing under oath, right? Having to do with affidavits and that kind of thing, right? In writing, it's done under penalty of perjury and dated in the following form, and then you have two choices. You have if executed without the United States, which means outside of the District of Columbia. And then you have number two, which is if executed within the United States, its territories, possessions, or commonwealths, right? So me being in the original de jure, me being on the original de jure landmass of California, it would be number one, if executed without the United States, I declare. Now, you wouldn't put the or certify, verify, or state. You would choose one of those words. So I declare, or I certify, or I verify, or I state, under penalty of perjury, under the laws of the United States of America. Do you see that?
Yep.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. That the foregoing is true and correct. Executed on date, signature. This is how I notarize all of my affidavits now, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I put without prejudice, and then I put and I actually got this tip from the passport office, because I called the passport office and I asked them, I said, I want to request certified copies of my passport folder. And so she explained to me exactly how to request certified copies of my passport folder, of which I've already mailed in and of which I've already gotten a response saying that they're working on it. And I have instructions on exactly how to do that. I have instructions on exactly how to request certified copies of your passport folder, which you should do. I have all the instructions on my State National Resources page. You should send that out. It's only $50 to do that, and it takes like 3 fucking months. So I would recommend that people start doing that, because then what you're going to get back is certified copies of black and white documentation stating that you are a non-citizen national of the United States.
There we go.
And that's fucking insane. You want that, right? The way that I do it is as per that, which I have. Look, I'm going to show you guys on here because it's so important, right? If you go down here to, here it is right here. So point number 11. Once you get your 4 or 5 star passport, now what you want to do is you want to request a certified copy of your passport records. This is when the party is going to get started. Instructions. A, write an affidavit requesting certified copies of your passport records. You want to notarize this as, quote, without prejudice, all rights reserved, period. Enter. Pursuant to 28 USC 1746. Now, this is word for word exactly how the passport office told me to notarize my documents. When I looked at it in more detail, I realized, holy fuck, I should notarize all of my documents this way. Okay? So because what you're doing is you're saying, without the United States, I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States of America. They tell you right there, bro. They tell you right there. You're literally saying, I'm not in the United States. I'm in the United States of America. They tell you right there.
Do you know where that comes from?
28 USC 1746.
But do you know where that originated from?
Well, if you look at 28 on the bottom of right here.
No. Right, but it comes from a court case.
Yeah?
Yep, it's called the Slaughterhouse Cases.
Oh, is that where that comes from?
Yep, it comes from the Slaughterhouse Cases.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, it's really interesting. So, are you familiar with the Slaughterhouse Cases?
Yes, I am. Not. I've seen some very interesting case law coming out of those cases, and I've seen maybe 3 pieces of case law. They're huge, monster, some of the most important case law I've ever seen. But beyond those 2 or 3 points of case law, no.
I mean, it specifically points out that there is a vast difference between a federal District of Columbia United States citizen and a state citizen. And
I just another thing on that point. Just yesterday, I added some other additional quotes from Jalil Bey's book, Land of the Free, Home of the Slave, which we talked about at the beginning, very recommended. He has a lot of case law in there that's really good, and I went and I added a lot of case law here to my theory page under point number 8. And if you scroll down, and after I explain all this stuff, there's a point where it says, now that we've cleaned this up, these quotes will blow your mind. These were all here. This one was here. This one was already here. This one was already here. This one was already here. But all of these here were all added from Jalil Bey's book. And I went through and I handpicked a whole bunch that I really liked. We have this one. The term resident and citizen of the United States is distinguished from a citizen of one of the several states, in that the former is a special class of citizen created by Congress.
Right. Yep. I've read that before.
Actually, I think
I
misspelled U.S. versus Anthony. I think that's what that's supposed to say. I'm going to fix that. We have our political system, a government of the United States and a government of each of these several states. Each one of these governments is distinct from the others, and each has citizen of its own. United States versus Cruikshank. He was not a citizen of the United States. He was a citizen and voter of the state. One may be a citizen of a state and not a citizen of the United States. That there is a citizen of the United States and citizenship of a state. These are all different cases. A citizen of the United States is a citizen of the federal government. That's a big one. Kitchens versus Steele. The term citizen in the United States is analogous to the term subject in common law. This one blew my mind.
Yep.
The change of phrase has resulted from the change in government. This is state versus Manuel. There are then, under our Republican form of government, 2 classes of citizen, one of the United States and one of the state. So I added all these. These are all here now.
Nice. That's great. That's good stuff.
It shows a lot of different cases have dug into this. A lot of different cases. So, yeah, this is intense shit, brother.
Yeah, that's all right. So you want to see something really cool? So the Department of State, right, where you get your passports from, decided that they were going to help everybody out by telling you exactly what you need to say to them in order to become a national and not a citizen of the United States. All right. I'm going to show you that they said this on their own website. This is great. So this is, you've probably seen this before, travel.state.gov, certificates of non-citizen nationality. As defined.
Yeah, exact page that you're looking at right now is on my course in great detail.
Right. All U.S. citizens are U.S. nationals. Right? It says it right there. Then they come down. They tell you what a national is. The term national means a person.
Well, yeah, because it comes from that one. It comes from that one definition where it's like, blah 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 is a citizen of the citizen of the state in which they exclusive jurisdiction. Blah, blah. I forget the exact. You know what I'm talking about, the definition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they tell you that the outlying possessions of the United States means American Samoa and Swains Island, and then they tell you, oh, state includes, but this state here is different than this state here. That's a small s. This is a capital S.
The capital S is referring to the incorporated element, and the small s is referring to the unincorporated element.
Bingo. Right?
They don't define any of that, though. They
won't define it. But the outlying possessions of the United States means American Samoa and Swains Island, which is not a state. That's
but what's funny is the way that they do this stuff and the way they make these definitions is when they say the definition is America, Samoa, and the Swain Islands, they aren't necessarily. That's not untrue. It's an incomplete definition.
Right.
So if you ask me what is the definition of color, and I said color includes red and green, and I said nothing more than that, I'm not necessarily lying to you.
Right. Well, include a legal definition.
You see what I mean?
Means without anything else.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Is that true?
Oh, yeah. All right. You want me to pull that up?
Black's Law?
Black's Law.
Yes, please. That's very, very fascinating. Please do so. I did not know this.
Let's see. Let's go to Black Law. I got all this stuff. You can see all the stuff on my computer now. But
it's like me. I got shit everywhere.
Oh yeah. Of course, I probably passed it now.
The word, is it include? Is that what it is? Includes or something?
Include, yeah.
Too.
H-I. Include. I'm close. I'm getting pretty good at navigating through this thing.
I'm still a bit slow sometimes on it. It's fucking irritating.
Include. All right. To shut in. Keep within. To confine within. Right? Hold as an enclosure. Take in. Attain. Shut up. Contain. Enclose. Comprise. Comprehend. Embrace. Involve. It says, including may, according to context, express an enlargement and have the meaning of and or in addition to, or merely specify a particular thing already included within general words theretofore used. Right there is how they get you, and they trick you into thinking that it means more than what it is. Specify.
Wait, say it again. Say it again.
Merely specify a particular thing already included within general words theretofore used. So the words that are already used in there is just specifying that particular thing. Right? And then if we go back to this, we'll go back up to here. The term state includes the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands of the United States. And we go back to this.
Yeah.
Specify a particular thing already included within general words used. That's it. So when they say includes, that means that it's specifying just those things and only that. And
that's probably not the definition that they're using, because that's not what they do. What they're doing is they are, like I said, it's what's the definition of color? Color includes red and green.
I mean, I can agree with that. I don't, it could,
because if I say color includes red and green, that is a completely 100% truthful, non-lying, completely upfront and clear thing that I am describing.
Right.
But I'm leaving out a tremendous amount of information. But it doesn't mean that what I'm doing is it's sort of dishonest, but it's not lying. It's not perjurous. It's not any of these things, because colors, the definition of color does include red and green, but it also includes a whole bunch of other things, right? So it's basically a way of how can I define this at its absolute weakest level without getting in trouble or being perjurous or doing anything, and how can I give this a definition at its lowest possible level to where it would be considered a definition and not a definition. So it's basically, what's the bare minimum so I can get away with defining this without actually defining it?
Right. Yeah. Oh, they do that all over the place.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Now, here's what they say in here, that if you want to become a national but not a citizen of the United States, declaration under oath before any court established by the Constitution or the laws of the United States or any court of record in the Commonwealth as follows. I, your name, being duly sworn, hereby declare my intention to be a national but not a citizen of the United States.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Now, I've been told by a lot of people that when you request these certificates, they don't send them anymore.
It says it right on the website that they feel that they're not cost effective. They don't want to spend the money on
Dog shit.
No, it's because people start flashing them around, and then they'll go all over the place, and
exactly
it'll blow up in their face.
I would love to see if somebody has one of these certificates from 20, 30, 40 years ago. Oh, Lord, I would love to see that. Ooh, I would put them on my show.
I heard there was some dude like back in like 1991 or 92 got one of those certificates and was flashing them around, and then they canceled them because people started wanting them. They're like, wait, what? You got that? He was like, yeah, man, look at that. Whoop. So I don't know what happened to that guy, but
yeah, I'd love to. I mean, the law, the USC, I believe, still states that they have to do it. I remember seeing it somewhere, maybe in the INA or whatever. Those references they talk about on that site that you just looked at. I remember a long time ago going on there and looking at all of those laws and stuff that they list there. And I remember seeing somewhere, it says right in the USC that if a person wants to, they can request to blah, 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 blah. And I bet you, if you strong-arm the fuck out of them and you threaten them with a claim of lien, because, hey, if it says in the USC that you can do something and they have to do it and it isn't canceled, they have to fucking do it. Even if their stupid-ass little faggot fucking website said that they don't have to fucking do it, they still have to fucking do it.
Yep.
So the thing is that if they, it just depends on, it literally just depends on how far you want to go to get it. Because I feel like if you want it bad enough, you can get it.
Well, I wrote to them when I sent in my affidavit to the Secretary of State. I said, this is my application for my certificate. Send me my certificate. They never sent me one.
Yeah. On the explanatory statement from James C. Lovett, it says right in there, if you read it, you've read it a million times, but you might not remember. It says right in there, I hereby request, please forward a request to the blah, 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 because I do hereby request to get a copy of the certificate of non-citizen national status.
Yeah.
It's actually in the explanatory statement.
Yeah, I requested it on the affidavit that I sent, and then again in the passport application.
No, a lot of these things I feel like you would have to do like more of a strong arm claim of lien type.
Oh yeah, you really got to come down on these guys because they say right on their website, they're like, oh, we don't. It's just what's the wording they use? They said there's inefficient expenditure of resources. That's their reason.
Yeah,
money.
You can chop your dick off and call yourself a non-binary shooting star, but you can't get a certificate of non-citizen nationality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. You can
send. It's not cost effective.
That's right. What they do? They did like $3 million to see if gold or goldfish would like float in the water or something. Can't get a certificate.
See, now the part that is interesting about all this Congress shit is Congress, according to some recent research that I've realized, is basically the board of directors of the District of Columbia.
Yep.
I'm sure there's a senior board of directors above them, but they're like the public side of the board of directors, and then you probably have like a private side, which is the higher level, which is God knows who, right? But the board of directors, as per case law, all over my website, and you've seen it a million times too, they only have they're the board of directors only for the District of Columbia. So what makes me what's so mind blowing about all this to me is that you have these guys that are in Congress that are running around like even I don't know if he's in the Congress or the House of Representatives or whatever it is, like even like what's his name, Ron Paul, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you do have some guys that do seem to be really fucking cool, really, really smart, good guys that actually have the intention to help and assist the American, populace, right? Do they just not know any of this shit at all whatsoever?
They might
just
not.
not have a fucking clue?
I don't think they do.
It's amazing.
I think some of them might.
Amazing.
A mutual friend of ours actually found something from one of the senators back in the 90s, actually gave a big speech in Congress about this whole fraudulent system.
I saw that. Actually, that's actually in Jaleel Bey's book, actually, and I can actually talk about that right now because that is a fucking intense, super, super intense quote that I think that would be great to talk about right now on this thing. Give me 1 second to find it. Yeah, there's some quotes in here that I don't think you've ever seen because I haven't seen them. Look at this one. We'll find that one.
I saw that book. I'm going to order that book because I did see it and I wanted to get it, but
oh, it's great.
Now I know where to get it.
It's not as good as his videos. His Instagram videos are like, on a scale from 1 to 10, it's literally beyond.
Does
10.
it make you breathe?
It's uncomprehensibly breathy. Okay. Like, I actually had to stop watching because my dick got so hard that I got lightheaded because all the blood was rushing down to my penis. Okay?
Oh, my God.
So here, check out this quote. A U.S. citizen, upon leaving the District of Columbia, becomes involved in interstate commerce as a resident and does not have the common law right to travel. Whereas a citizen does not have the common law right to travel like a citizen of one of these several states. So essentially a U.S. citizen, when they leave the District of Columbia, they're just sort of like this stateless, drifting nomad, essentially. And this comes from, I don't know what all this means, but it comes from SC Reporters RD 610-625, and it comes from 1914.
Wow.
So basically, I'm assuming what that means is when you get pulled over in California and you're a U.S. citizen, you're just this like lost, drifting log, sort of, in the eyes of the law.
Very interesting. Well, I don't know how the cops particularly look at it, but it's interesting that only the seats of government are under the District of Columbia. When the cops are driving around trying to pull people over, they're not even in their own jurisdiction.
Well, they are in the world of law. In artificial law, they are. Because the police officer has signed under penalty of perjury that he's a U.S. citizen to even have his job, and the person he's pulling over has signed under penalty of perjury to two things. One of them is that they're a U.S. citizen to get their driver's license, and the second one is that they're a U.S. citizen in order to have their car registered and gifted to state of California.
Right. Oh, by the way, that reminds me, I called the corporation for the car company that I got my car from, right?
Yeah.
So let's say Ford, right? I called them and I asked for the MCO. And the woman did not know what it was. I said, I said, hey, I'm sending my car to Taiwan. I was told I need a certificate of origin. How do I get that? So she told me the steps. She went and she had to go find it on the computer, and the computer listed out the steps, what to do.
No shit.
Yep. And so she told me. I wrote it down. Got a nice little note right there.
Tell us.
Oh,
This
yeah.
sounds really exciting.
What you have to do, if you don't know the answer to this one, you got to call the corporate headquarters and find this out. But you're going to need the VIN number in order to do this. But you contact the State Department or the DMV, right, of the original state that the car was first registered in. Okay? Wow. Or the equivalent of the DMV. Like in New Jersey, it's called MVC, Motor Vehicle Commission. Right? So you can call the State Department or you call the DMV and you ask for the manufacturer certificate of origin. You just request a copy of the certificate that they have on file. And you
now I called the DMV in California as regards to mine, and I requested a history for the vehicle, a title history, and they told me they couldn't give me a title history because they can't give me any private personal information of anyone else who has ever registered the vehicle, which that actually makes sense to me.
Right.
I would want somebody else, It makes sense to me in one respect, but then it doesn't in another respect, because it is technically public information. But I don't know. It's a weird thing, so I wasn't sure.
Well, because there's addresses and stuff. So,
I wasn't sure. Yeah,
this bypasses it, because what you do is you call the corporate headquarters, and you tell them, you say, "Hey, I just need to know where my car was, what state my car was first registered in. I don't need to know who registered it. I just need to know that." And you can tell them and just be direct and honest with them. Say, listen, my car is being sent out of the country. It's being shipped overseas, and the country is requiring a certificate of origin for the car to be to go onto their land. So I need that certificate. All I need to know is what state has the certificate, so that way I can call the DMV or the State Department and get the certificate, or at least a copy of the certificate. And then they're supposed to send it to you. But you have to tell them that it's leaving the country. So then
you have to locate the state in which the car was initially registered. Now that makes sense, because in order to initially register a car, you have to give them the fucking MCO.
Well, I found out that my car was originally registered by the dealership that purchased the car from the manufacturer. So what they did was they registered the vehicle and then it was registered in the state of New York. So the New York State has my MCO. I'm going to get it from them. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to call New York State. After I get the MCO, I'm going to wait like a month or 2 months. I'm going to call them and I'm going to say, by the way, that car has been destroyed. It was totaled and it got turned into a nice little square at the junkyard. It's gone.
So that way they remove it from their systems, and then you have the MCO, and then now you're in control completely.
Right.
Now, where your car was repoed though, was it? Which car are you talking about?
My new car.
Oh, you have a new car. Okay,
yeah, I got another one.
That's genius, because the other thing you can do, and I've told a few people this, and again, this is theoretical. Okay. So I have a very custom built sports car. It's a little older. It's a 2009 Shelby GT500. and it's my baby, and I love this car so fucking much. And the car is custom from bumper to bumper. I've torn that whole car apart, and it's completely custom, right? So I didn't want to go down this whole road of doing all this stuff and all that. I was very, very nervous about that. So I went ahead and just took Federal Reserve notes. I paid off the car completely. I got the title, and then I registered the vehicle in South Dakota under my trust. Okay, and I figured for now I'll just leave it like that because it's like the lowest bullshit rung of the ladder right now, right? No one's going to fuck with the car. No one's going to pull me over. No one's going to say shit. No one's going to do anything, right? I got my passport. I'm just going to leave it like this for now because anything that rocks the boat too much with this particular car freaks me out, right? If I had any other car in the world, I'd be like, whatever. Like, I could give a fuck less. I'll walk home. Fuck you. You know what I mean? So I haven't gone too far down this rabbit hole. I do want to get the MCO. I do want to take it a step farther. I do want to do everything I can on this, and I do intend on maybe even getting a second car and testing this out. But basically, my theory on this is once you do all this, what I would do is if you owe money on the vehicle, my theory on this is that because you got your car repoed, it's a perfect example. I feel like learning from you and other people that I've talked to, I feel like the correct sequence of actions is you start working on the MCO, but you also file a common law lien on the vehicle as well before you start trying to discharge the amount owed on the vehicle. Because if you file a common law lien on the vehicle, if they repo the car, they can't sell it. The repo agency can't sell it. The auction can't sell it. The original company can't sell it because if they sell it, you're the first person they have to pay. So at that point, you're driving around and you've already sent in your paperwork to try to discharge your vehicle. If they take the vehicle away from you, in your mind, you can think of it as they're just going to go and sell your vehicle for you and then pay you after they sell it. Because that's what's going to happen. Right?
Right.
I feel like if you start trying to discharge your vehicle and you don't have a common law lien on the vehicle, you're putting yourself at risk for repo.
Well, I mean, that is what happened to me.
Yeah. So I feel like if you want to get the MCO and you want to discharge your vehicle, the first thing you should do with your new vehicle, you should put a common law lien on the vehicle, which I have this is a good plug. On my state national resources page, I will go ahead and share the screen for you guys because this is new. And if you don't dig through my website in great detail, you're not going to find this. If you go to it's not quite secret, like my store is secret for all of you secret-loving people who haven't found my store yet on my website. It's in a it's not really secret location, but it is technically a secret location. So if any of you guys want to buy a cum towel or a whiskey glass, you can find my store on my website. There is a entire book right here. So on my resources section, it's under section 17. Once you have your own house in order, such as marriage certificate, driver's license, voter registration, Social Security, blah, 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 you can start getting into liens, which is the offensive end of the spectrum. If you read this and you want to learn more about it, you click right here. Click here to download that book and read it. This one here is called Commercial. It's called Commercial Liens, a Most Potent Weapon. You click on that link, and it pulls up a PDF of this entire book.
Nice. Well,
Commercial Liens, a Most Potent Weapon. And you can see here, it is literally an entire book. Now, this book describes to you the purpose, the entire history, the background, and the different types of liens, okay? A common law lien is a defensive lien. A commercial lien is an offensive lien. So when I'm talking to Joe about filing a common law lien on his vehicle, it's a defensive lien that makes the company think twice about spending the money to come and repossess your car, because all they're going to do is wind up working for you, because they're going to repossess the car and sell the car for you.
But they already have a lien on the car.
I don't know exactly how that all works, because you basically have a secondary lien at that point. I don't know every little detail about this, obviously.
Yeah,
right?
it is kind of weird, but I guess if they do repo the car, they've satisfied their end of the lien, and now my lien is the only one that's left.
I don't know, and frankly, I don't think the book necessarily totally describes this in detail. I could be wrong. I don't know the answer to this question. All I know is, if you don't do some sort of defensive lien or something on the vehicle, they just come and just take it. And they're like, what are you going to do about it, bitch? Like, I mean, there's no, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, with that company, W4 Sandwich, them, because they took the payment and then didn't honor it. So I did find out a couple of things. I don't know how true it all is regarding the 1099As and how those things work. But I did hear that if you're not...
I've given up on all that, by the way.
Yeah, so have I. That's like ancient history to me. People keep asking me about it. I go, whatever.
I don't even respond to comments of people who say shit about that. I just heart react it, and I don't even respond.
Yeah, like people ask me, I said, don't waste your time. I don't, But someone told me, talking to the IRS...
My mentor has been doing this shit for like 35 years or 40 years, or maybe even longer. He knows people who have gotten the 1099A to work. I'm not saying it doesn't fucking work. All I'm saying is there's 8 billion different ways to access money or discharge things or do this or do that. There's 8 million different avenues. And for you to just get stuck on one forever is stupid. And I've had a lot of success in a lot of different areas. The 1099A is not one of those areas I have had success.
Yeah, same here. I did not have success with that. I did have success with the coupons. They've been working.
Yes. So why would you focus on the 1099A when there's all these other areas that people are having success? I know guys who... Dean Chitrin is super into the W4 sandwich. It's not something that I want to get into, but he's really into it. It seems very realistic. It seems very real to me that these people are doing this. I don't like super complicated things. It just annoys me. So the W4 sandwich annoys me, okay?
It's actually really simple.
It annoys me. If it is simple, then maybe I'm just the one lacking, and that's fine. If that's the truth, then so be it. But fuck, it irritates the fuck out of me how complicated it is. It just irritates me.
Well, I mean, I don't know where you're getting the information from about how to do it, but that could be the problem, is the source of the information of how to do the sandwich.
Yeah, it's like I don't know when it's used, or like you fucking...
Well, let's say this. Let's say the credit card company, right, that you just did a conditional acceptance on, they're treating you like an employee. So you do the W-4, and you put their name down as the employer, right? And then you just write a cover letter, a 1040V voucher that you fill out, but you leave blank, put some stamps on it, and you send it to them saying, hey, these guys were treating me like an employee, and I'm not. Please audit. And then they audit the company against your Social Security account. And whatever money that they were drawing from your Social Security account that they weren't supposed to, you get back or is refunded through the company, and the company gives you a credit.
So I never had it explained that way. So the same way that the District of Columbia, otherwise known as United States, makes us an employee in order to create some sort of insane contractual trust obligation horseshit cocksuckery.
Right.
You're saying that that same exact system is used by the financial institutions in order to create a situation no different than the Social Security situation, in order to make us essentially employees, in order to gain jurisdiction over our accounts, in order to give us little scraps of benefits in exchange for mountains of our own potential value. And the W-4 sandwich is essentially you're reporting that fraudulent connection and fraudulent activity to the IRS in order to spark an audit. And then from that audit, any funds that are collected are returned to you as an exchange to that fraud.
Bingo.
That's fascinating. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's really cool. You could do it with court cases too.
Interesting.
Because when you get a ticket and you appear in court, they create a bond, right? You report them with a W-4 sandwich that they're treating you as an employee, and they're creating bonds based off of that. They want your Social Security number. They could get it right from your driver's license, right? Or whatever ID you give them in that case, and then they pull that out, and then they create a bond, and then the judge, the bailiff, and the court clerk were all making money off of that bond. And you report them to the IRS with that W-4 sandwich, and lo and behold, those things disappear. Because now now you're calling them out for income that they're not claiming, or something, some irregularity with their income.
So it's almost you're almost like reporting unethical activity and then getting paid for the unethical activity. It's almost like a little mini court case in itself.
That's right.
That's fascinating. I didn't realize that's what it was.
Yeah, it's really cool. Some people
I
complain
don't know how to
work.
do it. I don't know how to do it. Well, a lot of people claim a lot of things don't work because they're fucking retarded.
I think one of the reasons why it doesn't seem to work is because the company that they W-4 sandwiched wasn't doing that stuff. That's why it didn't, quote unquote, work. So I don't think it always happens. I think some companies just are really unethical and some companies are not.
So how does a bank make you an employee through the Social Security number, or how does it?
Right, because they ask you for your Social Security number and then they take money out of it for whatever reason, probably to make the corporate bonds, right?
So like, okay, so today I literally went to my bank, and I have a really fantastic banking experience with these people that from this particular. I drive across town to go to this bank. It's such a great experience. These people are great. And I opened up a new trust account. It's my name in all capital letters, trust. And it's a 98 EIN number. Okay, so it's a non-resident alien EIN number. So I'm really excited. It's my first 98 EIN trust. Okay. And on the documentation, on the bottom of the documentation, it has two different sections. It has one for a U.S. citizen or a U.S. person, and it has one section for a non-U.S. person. And when you look at the non-U.S. person section, it requests a passport number. So the U.S. person section is the Social Security number, is what it's asking for. And then the non-U.S. person is it's asking for the passport number, right? And I asked the guy, I said, I'm not a U.S. person as of recently. I said, how do you want me to do this? And he said, no, it's okay. He said, you are a U.S. person. And I said, I'm actually not a U.S. person. And I said, if I sign under penalty of perjury, I can actually get in a lot of trouble because I'm actually not a U.S. person. And I had brought this up a couple times before, and he was like, I've looked into this a little bit, and he's like, it's really confusing. He's like, I really can't change this. And I said, well, can I sign this as a non-U.S. person? And he said, whatever you need to do. And so I signed it non-U.S. person hyphen without prejudice, human name, comma, TTEE for trustee. So And then I asked him, I said, can we change all of this later? And it's sort of like a job, you know what I mean? You're a W-9 forever, and then you listen to one stupid fuck, and then you turn in a W-8-BEN, and then they just convert it over, right? So I asked him, I said, can we change all of this information later? And he said, oh, yeah, no problem. So what I'm thinking is I have all these fucking trusts now, and I have all these accounts and business account and trusts and all this shit everywhere, right? So now I'm just going to write up an affidavit, and I'm going to list all the account numbers, and then I'm just going to basically put like a whole thing. Like, here's the deal. I want my Social Security number removed. I'm a non-U.S. person as per this explanatory statement. Hopefully I can get the certified copies of the passport stuff. That'd be great if I had the certified copies. It's like huge, right? Mm-hmm. But if not, I'll just give them the original non-certified copies. And I'll just let them know, like, look, like, here's the deal, you know, remove my thing, you know, because when I first started opening all these new accounts, I didn't have my passport yet, so, you know, whatever. So it's just kind of like, and you learn things as you go. You learn about, like, 12 USC 411, which states that they have to do real money, and then you can start putting 12 USC 411 on your signature cards and all these different things. And I learned all this shit as I was going. So all these different accounts that I have are all... each one's better and better and better than the last one, right? And now I have a 98 EIN, and then I put 12 USC 411, and I put without prejudice, and I put this, and I put... It's like the whole pack. I feel like I finally got the whole package there, right? So you know, in my head, I'm thinking I'll just do an affidavit, and I'll just do like a novation clarification type thing, and I'll just send it to the corporate office, and I'll let them just totally freak out and run in circles and blow themselves apart, trying to figure out all the stuff. And I'll just have all my accounts all changed over to W-8-BEN, non-U.S. person, all at the same time. And it just seems easier to just do it their way and sign it as a non-U.S. person without prejudice, and then get the account open, and then create the affidavit, and then mail something out later that cleans everything up. I mean, I don't know what your experience has been on this.
I haven't done well with the banks. I just kind of I keep my mouth shut now with them because I've been told by like several different banks that if I'm not a citizen or resident, then I can't get a bank account.
What?
Yeah.
My bank literally has an entire section of all their forms for non-U.S. persons.
Well, non-U.S. person could still be a resident.
No. The answer is no.
I don't know. Well, one bank changed my status in their records to non-resident when I asked them to.
No. My guy who's been working in banks forever, this particular bank, he's fairly new. His name is I'm not even going to say his name. He's just such a great guy. I don't want to... He's not the kind of person that would want associated with any of this. And he has a very strange foreign name that you could probably locate in 10 seconds. So I'm not going to say his name. But he told me straight up. He's like, if you're a non-U.S. person, then we file a W-8. He didn't say W-8-BEN.
W-8.
He said W-8.
That's foreign beneficial owner.
But he knew about some of this stuff a little bit, because think about it. I feel like the whole system is set up in a way where the secret, the big, huge secret behind all of this is just, if you live in one country and you operate out of another country, that's the secret. That's the secret to everything. These guys, they live in one country and they operate out of another country, and then they're not tied into any of this shit. You know what I mean? I don't do that. Well, I do that because technically speaking, United States of America and United States are two different countries. So technically you and I are operating out of a foreign company or a foreign government or a foreign land. And 28 USC 1746, the one that you put on the notarizations that says without the United States, totally proves that. That is like super black and white. the problem is that people see the word United States and they see the word United States of America and they don't, you know what I mean? It doesn't register.
To them, it's all the same thing. They're just
Exactly.
United States of America, no difference, huge difference.
It's the same thing, exactly.
Yeah.
So technically speaking, we're doing the same thing that all of these big hot shots are doing, where they do the offshore accounts and they do the this and they do the that and they do the this. The problem is that you sign all this documentation that states that you live and operate in the District of Columbia. They can go after these offshore accounts because you've already signed that they can, and you've already signed that,
Right. And we're over here going, well, we're not in the United States. We're in America.
Exactly. And that's why I much prefer not to do overseas accounts, because in my head I'm already doing overseas accounts. I'm trying to. It's not quite that simple. I'm having some difficulty with it. But I'm going to write an affidavit. I'm going to put all the evidence. I'm going to put the explanatory statement. I'm going to put a copy of my passport card.
Well, I didn't.
And if I have to put a copy of my whole fucking revocation of election in there, I will. And then I'm just going to mail it to them and let them freak out and run around on fire for 2 months and try to figure out what the flying fuck I just sent them. You know what I mean? Because I don't really care. It's like...
I didn't open up a trust account yet because, one thing is that I wanted to really write out a really good contract I'd be very happy with for my trust. And I wanted to make sure I could put everything I can in that thing. So I've been taking my time with that. Plus, I wanted to give it a good name. Couldn't think of a good name for it. But do you know what the actual name of the document, the Constitution, is called?
Which Constitution? The original one?
Yeah, the original one.
No, what is it?
It's called the Constitution for the United States of America. Like when you've got a book or whatever, it always says like this. It says the Constitution of the United States of America, but it never says that anywhere in the document. In the document,
wait, does that one say United States of America, or does that one say United States on the front?
It says,
United States. That's it. Of the United States.
That's
right.
it. Right. And
it doesn't say of America.
That's right. But when you go to the actual Constitution itself, see on the top, they call it the Constitution of the United States. It doesn't say that on the document at all. It says right on here, and this is the big letters on it, it says, we do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
Sure.
So it's actually called the Constitution for the United States of America.
You can write a Constitution of the United States of America and then publish it, and then that Constitution only applies to the United States of America, of which you are not. You can write. You're almost like writing a Constitution for another country at that point.
Right. Well, that's what the Organic Act of 1871 is. It's a Constitution for the District of Columbia.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I found the quote here. We have it's James Trafficant. And he's talking about a U.S. bankruptcy speech, the bankruptcy of the United States congressional record from March 17th, 1993. And James's last name is spelled Traficant, if someone cares to look at this. He's from Ohio. And he says, Mr. Speaker, we are here now in Chapter 11. Members of Congress are official trustees presiding over the greatest reorganization of any bankrupt entity in world history, the U.S. government. We are setting forth, hopefully, a blueprint for our future. There are some who say it's a coroner's report that will lead to our demise. It is an established fact that the United States federal government has been dissolved by the Emergency Banking Act from March 9th, 1933, declared by President Roosevelt, being bankrupt and insolvent. And then he's talking about here HJR 192, joint resolution to suspend the gold standard and abrogate the gold clause, dissolved the sovereign authority of the United States and the official capacities of all United States governmental officers, and departments, and is further evidence that the United States federal government exists today in name only. The receivers of the United States bankruptcy are the international bankers via the United Nations, the World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund. All United States offices, officials, and departments are now operating within a de facto status in name only under emergency war powers. With the constitutional Republican form of government now dissolved, the receivers of the bankruptcy have adopted a new form of government for the United States. This new form of government is known as a democracy, being an established socialist communist order under a new governor for America. This act was instituted and established by transferring and or placing the office of the Secretary of Treasury to that of the Governor of the International Monetary Fund as per Public Law 94-564, page 8. Section H.R. 13955 reads in part, quote, the U.S. Secretary of Treasury receives no compensation for representing the United States. And then he goes on. It's quite a bit longer. It's not terribly long, but I'm not going to read all this. It's about another 3.5 pages of material. But, yeah, he's talking about gold and silver, Federal Reserve notes. He says here, Federal Reserve notes are unsigned checks written on a closed account. FRNs are an inflatable paper system designed to create debt through inflation. Whenever there is an increase of the supply of a money substitute in the economy without a corresponding increase in the gold and silver backing, inflation occurs. He's talking about the importance of gold and silver, the power of gold and silver, the stability of gold and silver. So, yeah, this is, and this is kind of, part of this is why I realized, like a non-profit corporation, like somebody creating a non-profit trust, some people get really freaked out about that, right? Like, oh, a non-profit, I'm creating a non-profit. How can you profit if you're exchanging Federal Reserve notes? There is no profit in a Federal Reserve note exchange.
Right.
Profit does not exist in a federal. And it's funny because when you change your status, when you're in the system, you're a surety on the loan behind the Federal Reserve note, right? So it's sort of like your debt, kind of. You're a surety to the debt. But when you change your status, now it's just a foreign it's a foreign for-profit corporation that owes another foreign for-profit corporation money. It has nothing to do with you at all whatsoever. So if you have a whole shitload of these things, it's still zero. Or if you have none of them, it's still zero. You're always a zero.
Well, the interesting...
If you have 1 million Federal Reserve notes, if you're outside the system, you have zero. So where's the profit in a zero?
Right.
You're either at a negative if you're in the system because you're tied into these loans, or you're at a zero if you're outside the system. So where is the profit? Where's the profit?
I love how the FBI, or not the FBI, the IRS can walk in here right now and go, "Oh, you owe us this money," and I go, "Well, I don't have any. I only have this piece of paper."
Exactly.
This is my property. I'm not going to give it to you, but it's not money. Because this is the money of a slave. It's a debt note, but for a national, gold and silver.
Well, no, for a national,
we can use
these things are just they're foreign contracts.
Yeah,
I'm using foreign contracts to base. I'm exchanging foreign contracts for goods and services. So I'm discharging.
Yeah, it's
in order to receive the good and service, because a discharge, by definition, as per 18 USC section 891, which you went over earlier, which to me is the sexiest thing in the fucking world. It's a huge missing piece of the puzzle we've been missing.
That was a really good one.
That explains that as per the USC, when you discharge these things, you are repaying the obligation. A discharge is a repayment. So, yeah.
Well, that's the best we can do. Yeah, actually, my car, I'm buying it privately from someone. So there's no liens or anything like that. And I'm buying it with gold and silver.
Good.
Which is going to be on the bill of sale.
And that's what I recommend in my course. I haven't done that personally, but theoretically, that's what makes the most sense.
Well, that's why I'm literally doing it because of your course.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, then you can put it you put it in your trust or on the bill of sale. You should put on there that your trust is purchased. Oh, you don't have a trust yet. Well, whatever.
Well,
I would say
the bill of sale is going to show that I own it, and then I'm going to get a trust. And I'm going to put the bill of sale into the trust.
Yeah, well, at that point, you create a new bill of sale, and then you just put on the bill of sale that you
Sold it to the trust.
You sold it to the trust for 15 pieces of silver, or 25 pieces of silver, and then at that point, you want to get the MCO. But if you have the MCO and you put it in a trust and you put it in the trust for 25 pieces of silver, Jesus Christ!
And I called the state and tell them that the car was totaled and destroyed and junked, and now it's just. It's going to become melted down steel any minute now. It's just fucking God. It's so funny. All the stuff you can do, like it's amazing.
Yeah.
So the bond thing, that was a big help with the bond. So now you've helped make half this bond happen with the redemption thing on the back, and now I have to redo the front. Because the one part that bothered me, and the one thing that made me not pull the trigger on it, was the HJR 192 thing.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, because it's HJR 192 existed at one point in time, and then I don't know what happened. I believe HJR 192 became Public Law 73-10, and then I believe 73-10 was sliced up and then sprinkled throughout the United States Code. So when you say HJR 192, technically speaking, it's repealed.
Right.
Because once they cut it up and move it, they repeal it.
Well, one thing I found out is that the House resolutions are not actual law. They're not enforceable. That's like the major issue with it. The public law can be enforceable, but if
it's not repealed.
Right. Public Law 7310 was never repealed, but
I believe it was. That's my whole point.
Oh, I don't know. See, that's the thing. I don't know about that one.
Law 73-10 repealed.
I don't know. See if I can find it too. I only see people talking about it. I don't see it like... Now,
so according to understand contract law on uwin.com, technically HJR 192 was repealed, and then there's another thing here. It says HJR 192 is also known as public law 73-10.
Wait, it was repealed?
That's what I see here. Yes.
I'm having a hard time. Let's see. I'm going to try this. The problem is that the government sites that go over all the public laws, they don't go back, I think, further than the 90s. You can't see anything written pre that time. Let's see. Public. Yep. Okay, let's try this. Try the Emergency Banking Act of 1933. Oh.
So I'm reading this thing. This guy's writing about this, and he says that the correct way to explain or describe HGR 192 is not by saying HGR 192. It's by saying CHAP dot space 48 comma space 48 space
Wait,
STAT. So CHAP dot
Statute 112
space. No. Yes. 48 comma 48 stat 112. Yes.
Okay.
He says that's where the remedy is at.
All right. I'm at U.S. Code. Oh, shit. Okay. There it is. Fuck. And it's there. Got it. Want to see?
Share your screen.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. So I went, it's in uscode.house.gov. And when I clicked on the link, this is what comes up.
That's it right there. That explains the entire remedy right there, probably.
Yeah. This is what they call House Joint Resolution. 73rd Congress. And it is... There you go. Right there. Whereas the holding of or dealing in gold affect the public interest and are therefore subject to proper regulation restriction. And whereas the existing emergency has disclosed that provisions of obligations will purport to give the obligee a right to require payment in gold or a particular kind of coin or currency of the United States or in an amount in money of the United States measured thereby, obstruct the power of Congress to regulate the value of the money of the United States and are inconsistent with the declared policy of the Congress to maintain at all times the equal power of every dollar coined or issued by the United States in the markets and in the payment of debts. Now therefore be it. And that's all they say there.
So he's saying here, this is from freedomschool.com, freedom-school.com. He says that basically a House joint resolution is like a New Year's resolution as a resolution to yourself. a House joint resolution is a resolution to themselves, right? So the HJR 192 is only applicable within Congress as a conversation between the members of Congress, whereas Chapter 48 Stat 112 is the completely unrepealable remedy that will exist in perpetuity.
So when you call it that instead of HJR.
So when you call it Chap 48, 48 Stat 112, whatever the fuck any of that means,
Chapter 48.
Statute. Chapter 48 Statute 112, I'm assuming. When you call it that instead, this is the completely real, completely live, unrepealable, totally actionable version of HJR 192.
Yeah, and that's from the government's website. So it goes right back to the same thing every time, but just calling it that instead. It's such a 73rd Congress. 48.
Yeah, I feel like when people say HJR 192, I would almost go so far as to say like maybe that whole HJR 192 thing that everyone's talking about, maybe it was planted on purpose.
Right there. You see it?
Let me see.
June 5th, 1933, House Joint Resolution 192. Pub Res number 10.
The Pub Res number 10 is basically like the public law that actually fucking applies to everyone, or at least everyone who's filed as a U.S. citizen or whatever, based off of the House Joint Resolution, which only has to do with internal talks having to do with the House.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Well, that's why it's called 7310.
Well, 73 is like one thing, and then 10 is like the 10th thing that day or whatever that they covered or something. Yeah.
So calling it Chapter 48, that's interesting. You're just rewording it, but it's the same damn thing. So.
Yeah, but it's the public law version of the private side communication talking in private.
Oop, where am I? Got mine.
The HDR is the private part that does not apply to anyone and cannot be used as a remedy, and then the Stat 112, whatever the fuck it is, that's the public side that can be used as a remedy. And according to this dude, his name is Kevin Hines. According to this guy, there's a big difference between the two, which makes sense. Because I remember one time you and I were looking at something and it said like anyone who mentioned HJR 192, the IRS was sending to the CID, the Criminal Investigation Division. Remember that?
Yes. Yep. That's right. That's why that was number one reason why I said don't write HJR 192 on anything, and that's why I was so hesitant about putting that on the bond. But I couldn't find anything that better explained that. Other than that, but we could just reword it as was that Chapter 48.
Chapter 48,
Stat
48, Stat 112. You know, for all this time, I said, fuck them. I'm going to put HJR 192 on everything and go fuck myself. now I'm realizing that it's different. Now I'm starting to realize it in more detail. So, all right, doll, you got anything else to share? Because I think I'm fucking spent. We're 2.5 hours into this.
Oh my God, really? It's been that long? So, geez, man. The bond thing was big because I was doing the corporate bonds, and if anyone has a corporation, you can just make bonds. It's pretty wild.
All this shit is completely wild, bro.
Everything. All this stuff. What was the other thing? We got some people trying to use the coupons to pay the IRS. It worked already with paying state taxes. So.
What state? New Jersey?
New York.
Ooh.
New York State.
Yeah, brother.
That's where the mobsters are, man. Well,
there is no money. There is only promises.
That's right.
And we can prove it.
That's exactly how I wrote the bond. I wrote it as a promissory note. Like, this one's canceled because, well, it came out like shit. and so I canceled this one and redacted some of the data on there. But I'm probably just going to burn it. And then
you promise something, and then you just mail it in, and then have that promise exchanged for a different type of promise, and then this other type of promise called the Federal Reserve Note. You can go out and buy fucking planes and fucking yachts with it. You know what I mean?
There we go.
That's what we need. We need a big ass fucking yacht, Joe. We need a freedom yacht. Big motherfucker, just fill it with girls and liquor.
Nice. Now we're talking.
All from the Federal Reserve. We'll call it the Fedmobile, dude.
Promises.
Promises, promises, promises.
Promises, promises, promises.
All right, dog. Anything else to share?
No, I think that's it, man. That was awesome. I'm gonna go do this trust thing, and I'm excited to see if your little thing works out with your
I got one buddy of mine doing a $53,000 payoff on a car, doing it, and then I just made a $2,500 payment that went into pending, and then it went into completed, and then I got an email stating that the payment had posted, and I have not had my accounts closed. Again, I don't know if all this crazy ass shit and all these documentations and all these affidavits and all these, dude, I learned about something and I'm just like doing it. Like, I learned about something else, I'm just doing it. Learn about something else now, I'm just doing it. So it's like, there's also a part of me which is sort of like, okay, they don't close my account, but the next guy who doesn't have 8 million fucking affidavits in every fucking goddamn direction, calling everybody on the fucking sun, moon, and stars, they might close his account. You see what I mean? So I'm just trying to not go too fast with this because I want to actually learn. I don't believe that they just close the accounts because you figured out a loophole. I believe that they close the accounts for actual real reasons. Something from the USC, something from the CFR, something that was missed. There's got to be a real thing. It's not just, they don't just close it because they want to.
Well, I was thinking about that. Like, yeah, I was like, it doesn't make any sense. They close the account like when people pay the credit cards with the coupons, and then they close the account, and then they're like, no, that's it, and the account's closed. I'm like, why did they do that? That doesn't make sense. They should be like, oh, no, you still got to pay us money if they want to reject it. But they're not sending the coupons back. So I don't know if what's happening is when you're using the coupon, you're redeeming the full value of the bond, and now they have to close the account.
Yeah, or it could have something to do with the fact that you're a U.S. citizen. It could have something to do with, you know, the way you sign things. I mean, I've been signing on the credit card that I just made this payment on. I've been signing without prejudice beneficiary signature on every motherfucking receipt for at least a year. If I take a shit and it costs me $1, I'm signing without prejudice beneficiary signature on that motherfucker.
There you go. Right on a piece of toilet paper.
Oh, yeah. I toilet paper is going to become a negotiable instrument so fucking fast. So my question is like, if I did figure this out with the help of Dean Chitrin, just because it works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for the next guy.
Right. And I think that's like the thing, like there was some other things that people used to do that worked and then they stopped working. I think it's like a loophole and then they closed the loophole. Like the 1099A, I think was a loophole and they were like, oh shit, people are going to find out about it. So they closed the loophole.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if they,
It could be. I mean, I don't know.
Stuff.
All
I got to say is we keep finding these big puzzle pieces and we keep plugging them into the right places. And eventually there will be a day where we have every single fucking piece of the puzzle. And if they decide they want to shift one around or whatever, we already got it all figured out. And at that point, the only choice they have is to rewrite the whole goddamn thing from scratch. And that ain't going to fucking happen.
Nope.
If it does, it just ain't going to happen. So it's they if someone figures out enough pieces and they do a little something something, they move some things around to eliminate that little something something. But if we just keep going and we just keep finding all these core like pillars of really, really important information, which we're really getting pretty far along that road. I mean, my God, over the past week, just these couple of things. The one about the how to exchange, and then the one
that was huge, man.
And then the other one that we found, what was the other one we found? Something else, and you found the endorsement one a while ago, and we're putting all of the pieces of this puzzle together. And there will be a day, I mean, at the rate we're headed, probably in the next 6 months, where we've got so many puzzle pieces that there is nowhere to run anymore. The game's over.
There is a negotiable instrument that someone used that did work with the IRS, and they actually got $10,000 back.
Overpayment?
Yep.
Oh, no way, dude. Are you serious?
Yeah. I'm dead serious, man. I've talked with him. He's got a website. He shows you how to do it. He bought check paper, check printer. He bought magnetic ink.
Does he use the 1099 NIC or whatever, that one I told you about before?
No, he just makes it a certain way using the social and then the Federal Reserve routing number. But he makes it like a check. He paid his credit cards. I know another guy who paid off his credit card debts with it. This is huge. They're being very careful about it because one thing is they don't know if the IRS is making a case against them, right? Another thing is that the credit card companies took it, but they can't seem to redeem it at the banks. And I mean, this thing looks like a check. You know, the way this guy put it together.
Are they already? Do they have their passport and all the other stuff sorted out? Are they out of the system completely, or are they still in?
I don't know about one of the guys. I mean, there's a few of them doing it. I found out that you could just buy the magnetic ink.
I feel like if you got to get out and set up your own.
Is recording now? Okay, that was weird. Yeah, no, that's pretty interesting. The bond thing, man. I've been looking at these things and studying them. I was reading this financial book about them, like the corporate bonds, and I was like, "Fuck, man! If I'm a bank, I can issue bonds." So I went and just got an EIN number. I'm like, "Hey, I'm a private bank now. I can issue bonds now, right?" So I mean, it's a fucking joke. But that means I can also issue banknotes. Right, but that was the two things I was missing. My one issue was the HCR 192 thing, and the other thing was how to redeem it. And fuck, man, you got it. So yeah. So I already changed it while we were talking. I put whoop right there, and I just changed it 18 U.S. Code Section 891, and I just put 1, 2, 3, 4 in there, bonds, and it's all caps name commercial activity for the following amount, $500,000. Right, this is the issuing bank, Joseph Lustica Private Bank. Right, and then date of issue, put that there, and then I sign it on the back when it needs to be redeemed. Private bank, like my little seal. Yeah. And then we got this authorized signature. Actually, I wanted to put it. Oh, let me show you the bill of exchange I made too. I made a bill of exchange. Fucking glorious, sexy shit right here. All right. This one is really cool because I think I'm going to get the banks to actually cash this. And then look at this part right here. If you look at the byline, it says, just like on a real check, authorized signature over and over again. I put it in tiny little print. Can you see it? It's probably hard to see, but that's how I did it. So, and that's the bill of exchange. Paid to the order of Department of Treasury, prepaid U.S. Treasury account. I'm going to put all that in. Private issue, because it has to be private as a bill of exchange. But, yeah, man. But this guy, what's his name? Joel, I forgot his last name. I've actually done some Zoom calls with him. He's a big fan of Chris Hauser too, and I can't find his fucking website now. When I find out, I'll send it to you. You can check it out, but I don't know what they're doing. Mike Jonan said to me they might be building a case against these guys, and I said you could be right. One of the guys I worked. Joel, the guy who created these bills of exchange, he owed $20,000 to the IRS, and he sent them one for $30,000, and they sent him back a check for $10,000 because he overpaid. I was like, dude, oh my God, I'm breathing. I'm fucking breathing. Okay. Anyway, money orders. These didn't. All right.
Why does it say recording? Hold on.